Okay. All right. Looks like things are going to get started in a second. Wait for things to load. Wait for folks to come in as well, and then I'll hit the intro. Okay, looks pretty quiet, at least for now. Looks like the stream is stable, from what I can tell. If you can hear me in the chat, please let me know. As soon as people can say they can hear me cleanly, I'll hit the intro. Yep, audio is fine. Perfect. Let's get this started. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Bandwidth. It's been a little bit, a couple of weeks actually, and I'll have a little bit of description as to why that was coming in fairly soon. Hopefully everyone is coming in right now, from what I can tell. All right. So, just to give a little bit of a primer to those who might be new here, Bandwidth is my series where I specifically go over a lot of the new material that has charted on the not the Billboard Hot 100, on Bandcamp. And they've got a specific set of recommendations that I would normally go through on my own. But hey, as you are all here, might as well go through them together. We might actually find something that's somewhat interesting or intriguing. You never know what happens. So first little bit is just some general conversation before we kick things off in earnest. Probably will be a little shorter on that because I've taken a look at the songs that are on our docket, and whoo boy, it's going to be a long episode providing we don't get canned this one time at Bandcamp. Now, Bandwidth was actually a name that was cited from someone in my Discord server, which I will again hype up for those who are looking to have access to my Discord or get albums onto my schedule. That is, you can go through my Patreon or the highest tier in YouTube memberships, and they'll have access to that whole paradigm. But Bandwidth was an idea that came out of there, and thus far it's been good. I've been pretty happy with it. It's taken time to be on a regular schedule. I think a big part of that is also, I'm busy this year. A lot of IRL stuff is going on. If you know, you know. It's a lot of personal stuff tied to my life. I can't go into a ton of detail because, again, it's personal. A lot of it is not particularly relevant here. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. This weekend is going to be crazy. Yeah, this weekend is going to be crazy. We got a lot of big releases between Lady Gaga, Jason Isbell, Jenny. There's someone else. Spirit Box is dropping as well. Those are 4 credible releases, all of which I want to cover. You see, Kendrick has a movie coming out tied to the South Park stuff. I've known about that for a while now. I have some skepticism. I've seen Kendrick act before. I believe he was on Power once. That was okay. I'm just not sure how it's going to turn out. Yeah. Okay. Dirt Emo Volume 2 is not dropping this Friday, I believe. I believe it's dropping the next Friday after that on the 14th. Yeah, Mantra's a really good song. All right. What are you hoping to get out of the new Lady Gaga album? I honestly have no expectations for the new Lady Gaga album. I kind of wanted to, but at some point I just got to be able to step back and say, we will have to see. Again, the lead-off singles have not given me a ton to be super excited about. I don't think any of them rise to her best, but again, we will have to see. Okay, I saw something here about the brand new reunion. I'm going to take a bit of a contentious opinion on this because I'm not surprised by it. Like, I think for a lot of people after 8 years, what Jesse Lacey did would be the sort of thing where they think they could actually get back into the public paradigm and get away with it. They just effectively went away for 8 years, and the rest of the band didn't speak on it. And Lacey came out and was very open and apologized about it. I think I think a lot of people will make their judgment one way or another if that has been enough time for what Lacey has done, or whether or not he actually showcases a change one way or the other. I think that's a very stark difference between what Lacey said, admitted, and what Brand New came to represent as kind of emblematic as part of that scene, then followed up by the people that thought that he did nothing wrong or thought that he served his time. I'm not the sort of person to really speak on how someone would consume music one way or the other, especially as you try to hold that sort of moral standard. It becomes a complexifier to any sort of art you consume. I brought that up in my video essay back in 2021, where we don't want to talk about separating the art from the artist, mostly because a lot of people do not want to have to deal with the level of complexity and emotional engagement it comes with that sort of artistic conversation. That being said, I think there's a difference between your average consumer doing it and an influencer of some kind promoting it, because that starts getting into dicey territory, because you know what the band is coming to signify in certain spaces, and your choice to ally yourself with those who are going to it for more than just the music makes this a much more complicated conversation. Heard the new Ghost song. I have not. I'm just gonna wait for the album with Ghost, because again, after Impera, I wasn't exactly impressed. So we'll see where that goes. Alrighty, 7 years more intolerable length. A hibernate for 1 month. Yeah, worst Spanish-speaking music media. Mitra Padre or Amelia Perez. I have not seen Amelia Perez. I've heard it's terrible. I'm kind of happy that the Oscars didn't award it anything, especially given everything that's come out in and around the movie afterwards. But again, I didn't see Nora either. Like, I feel like I'm very much out of the traditional movie discourse from 2024. A lot of movie critics that I otherwise respect said the scene was very, very like robust. I will take their word on that. Again, I'm not as much of a movie critic as I am a music critic. I can speak that language, but I don't always think I'm as good at it. I'm getting a lot of glare on my light. Hold on a moment. All right. See, that's a little better. That is a little better. Okay. Also, the Padres baseball team ever uses Major Padre. That would be funny. It would never. I don't think it would ever happen, because I think everyone in the San Diego Padres would chase them out of the would chase whoever's running the music out of the stadium. All right. Let's see what else is here going on. Do it when they play the Blue Jays. Oh, jeez. They would do that too. Oh, you know what? It would be better than some Blue Jays announcer thinking that they were cute and trying to put on Meet Your Padre in that moment, because that would be just god awful. Got a song from Skillet you enjoy unironically or ironically? I missed the boat on Skillet. Like, by the time that I started hearing them, the first time I reviewed them was actually 2013 on my blog. I thought they were crap then. That was Rise, I believe. And yeah, so I have had no incentive to go back and find good Skillet music. Like, why would I bother? I am too busy as it is. Heard the Lisa album during the week and honestly wasn't impressed as much. She got outclassed by every feature except for Future. She hasn't had quite an expressive singer as of yet. I mean, that's kind of been true about a lot of the Blackpink artists. I've got higher hopes than I should expect for Jennie, given the most I've liked his mantra. Uh, Again, I think the Blackpink singers have been trying to launch their solo career, but I think what's revealed is that they kind of all need each other. And even then, Blackpink has kind of been a little bit off the rails for at least that last album, which even Blackpink fans didn't even seem to like. Not to get political, but where do you see the state of mainstream music heading under the administration of the states? Any potential trends you see coming up down the line? No. Truth be told, um, music is often the fastest to respond to trends, but music isn't always good in determining trends or driving them in terms of politics or pop culture. As much as we like to look back at the 60s and 70s in terms of those were the grand era of protest music, truth be told, it was often tied to existing protest movements that inspired those musicians. If that so happens to happen again in the 2020s, that might be pretty rad. Um, but I'm not sure it will. Like, again, I remember the last time that Americans tried to get a serious protest movement called. It was called the Bush administration. And if you, Lindsay Ellis did a quasi decent video, I want to say a number of years ago, called Protest Music in the Bush administration. And honestly, it was illuminating, and both in what it contained and what it didn't. What I think is very revealing about that video is that it often highlighted the reality that, in terms of popular culture, a lot of the people who were protesting, they were now facing the institutional pressures of industries that could and did push back on them. Like, you saw what happened to the Dixie Chicks. You saw the broad strain of conservative art that was pushing in that level of cultural backlash. I think there has been some of that already. I think there, especially coming out of 2023, 2024, when you saw some of those large conservative songs that were astroturfed somewhat. There's more of that going on anyway. Also, some of the conservative subtext experiencing in certain pop acts, but that's opening a massive can of worms. Sabrina Carpenter, sorry. Um, yeah, so I think there's a larger, more interesting contextual conversation to be had about that, but we can't predict it at this point. Again, a lot of that will be indicative of where common trends will go. All right, let's see what else we got here. Jesus Suburbia, they changed all. Ellie, I kind of get where you're coming from on the Green Day flip of the lyrics. Like, they're trying. Green Day's trying. Like, they're at least trying, even if it's kind of cringe. But, like, again, talking about an act that has kind of been in the thralls of the liberal establishment for so long. But again, it's the question of, you utilize the existing power structure to get your message out as far as you can, but you're running with the acknowledgement that so many of that audience is only going to stop within that power structure. Kind of a shame. All right, thoughts on DTMF from Bad Bunny, since you didn't think you talked about the song on the album bomb. It's good. It's one of the songs I actually like a little bit more from that album bomb. Again, I was talking about this with my personal trainer. I think there's a lot with that Bad Bunny album where I get the appeal, but my lack of Spanish speaking ability, as you all clearly can tell, that paired with some of the petulance in the lyrics when I've translated them, it's the sort of album I respect a lot more than I really like. If I'm still looking for an album that kind of nailed the Puerto Rican exploration a little bit more effectively, a little bit more incisively, I look at Hooray for the Riff Raps, The Navigator from 2017. Truly phenomenal album in that lane. It's aged incredibly well, too. Thoughts of Brandy Carlisle working with Elton John, entirely unsurprising. Brandy Carlisle is very much an institution at this point. Her working with Elton John makes all sense in the world. Um, Elton John singing Pink Pony Club. That would be cute. Sounds like the sort of thing Elton John would do and would entirely own. That makes all sense in the world to me. Billy Idol's coming back. Billy Idol's been working on a comeback for a while. He did that song with Miley Cyrus, Night Crawling, back in 2020. Best song on that album. And it was really, really good. It shows that his voice has not deteriorated. I think his not bland. I think his brand of 80s over the top plasticity would work well in a certain throwback environment. He would need to work with the right producer, though. See that Rick Astley covered Pink Pony Club? I did not, but that sounds like something he would do. Oh, that's actually really sweet, though. Rick Astley has done a remarkable job staying relevant in the popular consciousness, even beyond the Rickroll. That's someone who took being a meme and then was able to dovetail it into things that are much better for him overall. I love all the music conventions you seem to have with a personal trainer. My personal trainer is a great guy. We talk sports, we talk music, we talk politics, and we lift weights. Great vibes. Just great vibes all the way around. Twice a week. The Wiggles doing a country album this weekend feels entirely targeted at Mark. Okay, like, it's the same sort of thing as that Peppa Pig album that for some reason got reviewed in a lot of places. Although the funniest thing is when Mike the Snare juxtaposed that in highlighting hip hop in 2021 with Haram by Armand Hammer and the Alchemist. I think a lot of the kids' music getting reviewed by otherwise more adult leaning outlets feels a bit silly to me. Um, Especially when they try, like, I get why they do it because it draws traffic and it's kind of a good goof, but I don't know. I feel when column placement on a lot of those sites is so otherwise limited, I'd rather see the review going to any number of other independent acts that could deserve the attention rather than going to a kid's brand. Uh, what are expectations for Jid's new album? I hope it's great. I have every expectation to believe it's great. I kind of want him to get as far away from Dreamville as possible. Um, but that's more for my general antipathy towards J. Cole and the feeling that Jid really wanted to hop in the beef in 2024 and at least start shooting. And I think someone from his label told him that would have been a bad idea given all the nonsense around Drake and Kendrick. Probably smart advice, but I think Jid really wants to shoot at somebody. And we'll see where that goes. I think there's more than a few targets that he could easily take. All right, let's keep going here. You put Baby Shark as an honorable mention. That was a joke, okay? Like, and that's the thing. That's 30 seconds of my time in a 40-minute video. That's different than someone getting one of the 3 review spots that Pitchfork has available on a daily basis. Tory Lanez dropping a Prison album to compete with Drake and Party Next Door, and I don't care. The wonderful thing about Tory Lanez is that I never cared when before he went to jail for shooting Megan Thee Stallion. Like, I don't have no interest in talking about Tory Lanez. I think Rebecca Black claims that she escaped from the Friday mentioned in the past. Rebecca Black did something very smart in that she kind of not only embraced the meme when she did Saturday in 2014, I think, but then she actually got really into music with her hyperpop push. And while she was mimetic there for a time, she started to reveal herself as a very credible artist. And Salvation is a really good little pop project. I think it's gonna get overshadowed in a lot of spaces, and it shouldn't. It was really, really good. All right. We're going to get going to the rest of the video here because I've taken a look at everything that we have coming up on the list. It could be a long night provided that this does not get killed midway through because of copyright claims. Full disclosure, I'm going to have to skip over that 10-minute car seat headrest song that got released. Of course, Bandcamp gave it some placement. I'd love to play it live, but the problem is with car seat headrest, they are a big enough act that I guarantee that they would have otherwise have some sort of claim and copyright stuff set up. And that's the sort of thing where I'll take down a stream right away. I remember about a month or so back that it was a My Morning Jacket song that did the same sort of thing. When you have big enough acts that utilize Bandcamp, I'm not going to denigrate that because it makes sense. That's probably the best way that they get their money. But again, I don't want to see the stream get taken down. So we'll see where that goes. And if anyone else has any questions, excuse me, it's going to be something, again, where super chats will, again, be prioritized. I'll try to jump in and be able to handle that as it goes. And that's smaller than a 20-minute single that Swans have dropped. Of course it is. Like, I'm a little surprised Swans is still releasing music. Like, I'll be very honest. The Beggar had very much of this is a finale vibe sort of thing. But again, if they still have gas in the tank, good for them. Did you hear the Allison Goldfrapp solo project? I did not. I have a weird relationship with Goldfrapp. I just don't think they're nearly. I think they get a little overhyped in certain spaces. They've just never clicked for me. So I had no reason to seek it out. The notable section. There seems to be only 5 new tracks between adding then and now. Yeah, you know what? There is a lot of, but here's the thing. We normally go back about a week in terms of new and notable tracks. So normally it takes a while to get through everything. And I checked through, there's a lot there. Like it could potentially run very long. Oh, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate you like my videos and writing. That's cool. Thank you. Are you familiar with your name, Willow Avalon? Did you ever cross your radar? No. I've listened to the Swan song, but you recommended it to me, and the thumbnail is wild. That sounds like Swans to me. Like, again, at this point, why not go for broke and go wild? Because, again, you're in the game since the early 80s. That's over 40 years. All right. You know what? Let's get things going. Okay. In the corner here. Just me in the corner. Stare in the spotlight. Okay, let's go to Bandcamp Daily. Go to Album of the Day. Again, some of these will not be covered because of otherwise, we would have otherwise seen them elsewhere. Let's start off with this one here. Los Pirañas, cheers, welcome to my Spanish. Una importunidad más de triunfar en la vida. I'm not saying that again. So apparently this is cumbia. Okay, I'm not going to try to repeat that album title, but this is from Los Pirañas. And the song title is El Nuevo Prometido. Let's give it a shot. Kind of pleasant balance to this. Doesn't sound really squeaky on this though. Not sure I like the delay here either. Yeah, it is quirky. If you read the description, you kind of see why it's quirky. The bass is actually pretty good here, too. It's very beepy. Playful. The description here is actually pretty interesting where they're talking about this act. Yeah, I don't know. There we go. That was a very 60s looking album cover. That was El Nuevo Prometeo by Los Piranhas, and I'm not even going to try to say the album title again because that would just be a nightmare. Okay. So apparently here, this is an act that has a certain level of eclectic flair. Apparently the front man, this is kind of a bit of a super group project, and the front man is apparently widely inspired by a lot of different substyles of Latin music, and thus it's required. And apparently this staccato playing style is something he picked up in Europe, and now this is largely it's kind of prog, but it's also got some of that improvisational feel. I hear there's a little bit of jazz there. You certainly hear it in the bass lines. One thing I will say is I'm not sure I'm a huge fan of it. I think the very bleeping kind of cycling guitar melodies are fine, but they don't really move me. They don't really create much beyond that. And I will say that as much as the interplay is interesting, I feel like it's more curious than driving or potent. And I think some of the, while it does slow down, has some modulation, it's also very mid-tempo agreeable. Like I'm seeing some people who are like, it's got a bit of a quasi psychedelic vibe, but it's not really doing anything in the production to really accentuate it. I think it's okay. Like I'm not wowed by it per se. I think that will be better for a different audience that's not me. I'll leave it with that. All right, let's keep moving. Okay, next up we got some metal here from what I believe it's called. From Saint Vengeur, Sex and Repression in Higher Society. Oh boy. Now it's being described as metal, but I don't know if this actually is metal. Like I'm seeing a lot of description here calling this like associated with Witch House. We'll get into the sound later. We'll see what the other tags are here. Black metal, blackened witch house, death metal, doom metal, industrial black metal. Oh boy. Okay. All right. So that's going to give us a little bit of an idea of what that is. The song is called Prima Facie. Prima Facie. All right. From Sex and Repression in Higher Society by Saint Vengeur. Let's give it a shot. This does not feel like metal to me. This feels like industrial rock. Although those are blast beats. Why am I left feeling this should be way more edgier than it is? I'm almost gonna turn down my lights. This feels like it deserves like a little bit more darkness and edginess. There we go. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you weren't around for Witch House. This is trying to do some Witch House vibes, but like, it's also trying to do a lot of other things too. Well, you look at the description here. They're drawing parallels to Psychic TV, Little Ministry as well, and Castlevania. I feel she'll be way more impressed with this than I am. The synths are cool. Wait, that's where it ends? Oh, not over yet. I don't know about this one, you guys. Like, I feel I can predict exactly what I'm going to say about this. That was Prima Facie by Saint Vengeur from the project Sex and Repression in Higher Society. Okay. I don't dislike Witch House. I don't dislike what this is trying to do. I think that a lot of the synthesizer work is pretty flashy. I think some of the stalking grooves have a bit of an industrial rock vibe, a little bit of the creepier edges of dark wave are kind of present here. The drums aren't there though. Like, there were some blast beats, but like, you cannot call that blackened when there was nothing visceral in the vocals. You can't say that there was a lot of impact there at all. I feel like this particular song was severely lacking in any sort of prominent low end. But I gotta be honest, that was a big issue I had with a lot of Witch House as well. Like, that percussion palette that was a little bit more fizzy and didn't have that muscle, that kind of became a factor in at least the Witch House that I heard and I really didn't like. That was fine, I guess, but it should be way better than it is. Like, it just felt like it was trying to be very spooky and it just didn't manifest. Like, it felt like it was just very underpowered. And yeah, like, it's trying to be way more imposing and like thought-provoking, but it's also in a weird case where this is kind of in the nostalgia mirror. They're bringing this up in the description here. They reference a lot of vintage video games that are calling back to this sound and style, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, but you're not helping your atmosphere, not even close. Yeah, the percussion is the issue there, definitely the drums. All right, let's keep moving. Next one from Marie Davidson, City of Clowns. Okay. More people talking about indie sleaze. Got a Canadian here. Shout out Canada. Death from Above. Can we not mention Death from Above anymore, please? Okay, so this is a little bit more on the electronic side. The album is called City of Clowns by Marie Davidson. I just want to make sure I get the how long the song is. Okay. Or the actual proper name of the song. It's called Fun Times. Yeah, all right. I'll take some fun times. So here we go.
Tick tack, time is never coming back. What you choose, you might lose. Wake up or go back to snooze.
Oh, this feels very of an era.
But I'll cook it spicy. Naughty, naughty. Tell me, are you hungry? Yummy, yummy. Nancy, inside my tummy. There ain't nobody. Empty, empty. Tell me, is that scary? Or am I crazy? Silly, silly. On me, make out of money.
percussion has a little bit going on here.
easy to keep it healthy. Psychothérapie, money, money. Technologie, c'est toi qui choisis ton attitude. Passez, passez. Couper le fou par la personne. You make babies, I'm having fun.
Huh. Interesting to see this being described as Davidson as one of her more accessible projects, because this is, funnily enough, feels darker than the song we just covered. Like, this feels very much of a certain brand of electropop that I gotta be honest, I don't love. And I don't know why anyone's saying this is reminiscent of Prince. No, I'm sorry here. Nah, this to me is not giving electro funk vibes. It's a little too stiff. I didn't either, though. Like,
you make babies, I'm having fun.
Like, this feels like something that would have been flipped and remixed in, like, 2010 in the club boom. And that would have been getting a lot of acclaim alongside LaRue as being, like, forward-thinking in this space. Yeah, definitely more electro. Canadian Madonna, not French Madonna. I do think it's pretty fun. That was Fun Times by Marie Davidson from the album City of Clowns. I kind of like that. And I know exactly why I kind of like that. It's got a very bouncy, poppy vibe. It kind of hits that same nostalgia window that, again, I saw in the chat, Charlie XCX was hitting with Brat. Brat was also... But the thing with Brat is that it's way more streamlined towards a very brash, in-your-face, high glam mess approach, whereas this is way too chic to be that messy. Now, the reality is that it does get that messy if you're behind the scenes. If you know, you know. But this was a lot cooler. And when you read the description, Marie Davidson apparently made a lot more music that was much darker than this before. And it kind of has some of that vibe where they're like, yeah, I'm going to kind of make something that could play to that electro era, but also like keep some of that darker, artsier edge behind it. Where something that I don't think Brat was really trying to do. This is definitely trying to be more sophisticated, even if as someone who grew up in the late 2000s, early 2010s, this would have been played in the same era of nostalgia, just calling on to a different place. I wouldn't even say Lady Gaga. Gaga was way more pop friendly. Although Gaga would probably listen to something like this and really, really like it. Yeah, I didn't mind it. I think it was decent. Probably the most of the songs I've liked thus far has probably been this one. But I wasn't wowed by it, for lack of better words. Okay. Let's keep going. Next up, that's a compilation. We're going to skip that. Gunn-truscinski duo, Flam. Okay. That's from Steve Gunn and John Truscinski. Okay. All right, we're doing this right now then. All right, let's take a look what else is. I just want to get a little bit more in terms of the song title. Give me a minute. Come on, give me the song title. Give me a song title. All right. Song title is called Finn. Okay, so we're doing Finn and Flam. Apparently, we got some experimental music. I'm seeing Brian Eno getting referenced. This could be interesting. Let's give it a shot. Very pensive guitars. Indian classical music and predominantly improvisational. Oh boy. All right. All right, we could be into something weird, y'all. Let's see where it goes. Seemed pretty. Feels like the strings are kind of grinding alongside here. Well, it says in the description that a shift does come on this song, so I'm just that it builds up to a cacophony and then ebbs away. It's taking its time getting there. Kind of pondering here. The guitar work is kind of cool here, like it cycles in and out. You can very tell how improvisational this is. I'm waiting to see if it gets to something. Because it's not even that chaotic. Okay, we have an acoustic groove here. All right. Got a build going. This is probably the crescendo. We're halfway through the song. There has to be up here. Curious how many people bought this album. Whoa, way more than I thought would. You know, you say this is music for locking in. Come on, maybe I can focus. There we go. It says it's music for locking in, but I think the grooves are solid, but I'm not hearing the climax. Like, it's cycling around a good idea, but I'm waiting for everything to come together. Because right now it feels like I've got the component parts of a song, and they're good components, but I don't know. Yeah, we're definitely in the tranquility territory. Like, it's pleasant. I'm not... I gotta figure out how to implement polls. I'm genuinely curious where people are gonna fall, where people would fall on this one. But granted, there's a number of things I need to tinker with in bandwidth, and that's on the list. All right, that was Finn from the album Flam by the Gunn-truscinski duo. I gotta be honest, I want to like that a lot more than I do. You're reading the description here. This is very improvisational. So and with a lot of improvisation, they get a cyclical progression going, and like there was moments where it felt like things were going to start building. Excuse me. The problem is that for as much as it kept building, it never resolved. It kept building, then ebbs away, fades away, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. Like, you had so much promise here, and it just never paid off the way it should have. And that's frustrating because, again, the textures are well balanced. Like, it never felt like it was clashing awkwardly in the mix. The production was actually really nice. I thought all the elements felt very well accentuated. I thought they were very well blended. But the composition never came together. It never built to anything. It felt like people who are extremely good at what they do, noodling around a lot in the studio, but never actually building anything out of it. And they're like, ooh, I got this idea. Oh, let's go over and do this idea. Oh, you like that idea? That's a cool idea. Yeah, man. Good ideas. Ideas. Let's call this album Flam, because it could be Fim Flam. Just vibes. I don't know. Maybe it's just me having done Bandwidth for a number of times. This is the 14th episode of Bandwidth. I've heard a lot of this brand of improvisational stuff, and I'm looking for if it has a greater purpose. And here, like, I read the description on their Bandcamp page, and they're like, "We found sort of magic here," and I'm like, "Really? Did you?" I'm not hearing the magic, especially again when you have that much buildup and you don't build anything or you don't hit a really strong melodic motif. I feel like you're missing something. Yeah, wasn't getting it. All right, let's keep moving. All right, so we're done with that piece for now. So let's go down to new songs, and we got a lot to get through here. All right, for the new and notables, let's start off with this one here from Gerard Max Grapeshot. Okay, blending garage punk, art rock, and power pop. That's always a fun blend. The song here is called Yellow Hammer. It's just over from the album Revel Revel by General Max Grapeshot. Let's give it a shot. Lolo, welcome to joining.
Oh, you tender one, how you like to turn me all upside down, cut like a burn. I can overdo what I want to say. Your eyes look on back and I just melt away. When I trip or lean too far, you will be my guiding star. I need all your love to steady me, steady me, steady me. I need all your love to steady me. I need all your love to steady me.
This is an odd blend.
Steady me. I need all your love to steady me.
I kind of like those hand claps.
When I look out long, see a mild view. One shade I come across, always feeling blue. Oh, my universe.
There is a little bit of Damon Albarn to this that I can't shake.
When you do not shine,
Just how odd, like how shaggy it is in certain areas.
when I trip or lean too far, you will be my guiding star. When I get too far ahead, you will be my level head. I need all your love to steady me, steady me, steady me. I need all your love to steady me.
I feel I may have used my stoner impression too early.
All your love to steady me, steady me, steady me. I need all your
Like it's
love to
plastic
steady
beach
me.
vibes. That's kind of what I'm getting. Where it was a little more psychedelic in some of the edges.
1, 2, 3, and 4 stars are all just fine, but it's how you flare that's keeping me.
I don't know why anyone was calling this like
like
garage punk. I'm not hearing that at all.
You will be my guiding star. When I get steady me, steady me. I need all your love to steady me. I need all your love.
You may have seen me drop out there for a second. That OBS gave me a little bit of an issue there. There's a blip.
Love to steady me.
Can you all still hear me? Okay, that was Yellowhammer from General Max Grapeshot. The album's called Rebel Rebel. Yeah, it did drop out for a couple seconds. OBS is giving me a bit of an issue. That was an odd song. My general immediate impression was like, wow, that has some Damon Albarn, a little bit of Gorillaz there. I didn't dislike it, though. Like, it had a very lethargic, shambling 2000s vibe. Like, it definitely had a vibe. The atmosphere was pretty good. Didn't love all the synths. Didn't love all the psychedelic progressions. I'm not sure the lyrics added up to much, but again, if we're being honest, it's kind of true of that era of Gorillaz as well. If we're being very, very brutally honest. I think the percussion was actually pretty good, and when it came in and punctuated, add a little bit more momentum to it, a little bit more punch to that hook. It's got a stickier hook than I thought it would. Yeah, that was all right. That was all right. I'm not sure. Again, like I'm not sure it's the sort of thing that really jumped off the page, but for a vibe, it worked. A little bit. You know what? I hear a little bit of the Strokes. Like in terms of the Strokes, it was like not good Strokes albums, but I definitely hear some of that. Like some of that era. Like especially when it had was trying to be a little weirder, a little bit more experimental, but it didn't fully work. I was getting some of that, especially when it slowed down. A little bit of angles on that, honestly. All right, let's keep moving. Next up, from Dawn Leisure, we got some hip hop. We got some UK hip hop. This is Taichu Sane. I guarantee that's got some sort of weird Welsh pronunciation I'm gonna miss. Tirchu Shane, probably, from Dawn Leisure. The song is called Tirchu, featuring Gruff Riz. Oh boy! All right, here we go. Let's give it a shot. Get the backdrop working. I like the flip behind it. Well, turn it a little. Okay. I'm expecting someone to start rapping, and it hasn't happened yet. Like, this sounds like a Nourished by Time leftover. I kind of really like the vibe, but it needs to be more than this. Someone should tell me if this is a thing in Wales that it would sound like this. I feel like it's not, but like... I mean, I always appreciate a good tranquilizer. Like, this will certainly help soothe me. Like, I feel like for a very specific AMV, this could work. No one would watch that AMV except, like, me. Okay. I do have a little bit more context about this I want to add once we're done this, because I was reading the description. It's pretty interesting. Okay, this is Tirchu from Dawn Leisure for the album Tirchu Sane. Here's the kind of thing. This is more of a beat tape. This was not intended to have rapping on it. I normally jump past beat tapes, and this is probably a mistake on my part. But I will say this. Reading the description of this guy, apparently he's a Welsh producer out of Cardiff. And the interesting thing is that apparently he went on a sample digging into a bunch of mid 20th century like Welsh folk music and ambient experimental instrumental music. And he pulled these together. And honestly, I kind of really like it. Like, there's a really cool texture to this. It feels a little outsider. It feels very languid. It feels like it's got it's incredibly relaxing. It feels fey, but balanced out with some of that slightly rougher hip hop percussion. I didn't mind the vocals. They were just super chill. Again, it felt like an offshoot of Nourished by Time. And then it comes from that same sort of odd outsider place, as in once you wrap your head around it, it makes a certain amount of sense. So yeah, that was legit cool. I liked that. Again, I'm not sure how much replay value it would have outside of a very specific niche, especially when there weren't any like lyrics behind it, but that was cool. That was cool. All right, next up we've got some electronic music coming from Atomic Moog from the album Blue Scale. This is some dub techno. Oh boy. The song is called Data 100F. Oh boy. Here we go. Let's give it a shot. Ooh. Ugh. Sure I care for that. Got the unsuns going. I do not like that oily timbre to the synths. I just don't. Ooh. Granted, I'm not a huge techno fan as it is. This is going to go for 7 minutes, so hope everyone's strapped in for that. Yeah, the funny thing is I actually did play the more... There's a number of, like, TV show and video game themes that occasionally get club play. I've seen clubs that open up, not a pit, but, like, when the Succession theme comes on, in certain clubs, it goes off. I don't like the synths, which is kind of a shame, because I actually like the percussion and general groove to this. Feels very oily. Sounds like R2-D2 underwater. Like, I know there would be clubs that would play this. Oh, I should know the clubs that would play this. I wouldn't say the synths are outright annoying. They're just not to my taste. They have a lot of texture, but not as much melodic body. And when you have all that, like, grainy texture alongside a more rounded percussion and, like, softer drums, like that, it feels like it's clashing as an element. I feel like in a different era, this would soundtrack a video game. Not a bad video game. I could imagine this playing where, like, it's long enough that it would work for, like, start menu music. You gotta change up. Thing is that it's never been a textural change-up. It's the same palette they're using for everything, but it's just like organizing it in different ways. Yeah, it's a little frustrating because this is not bad. It just feels like it's just not for me. It's absolutely overstaying its welcome, though. I know some people who do too much ketamine who would like this, so... This is a frustrating song, I gotta be honest. Like, it's not bad, but like, Excuse me. Oh, pick up a pace. Do something, please. This does not need to be as long as it is. This isn't IDM. This is more dub techno. Especially with that bass. It's got slightly rounded edges, but it's still very much on that 4 and the 4 beat. I think we're about done. Please be about done. Okay. That was Data 100F by Atomic Moog from the Project Blue Scale. I'm the wrong person to critique a lot of dub techno, and techno in general. I know this about myself. And I know the environment in which this works because I like the beat here. I like that slow bassy patter that kind of roils around. I think the percussion is well balanced against it. But as I was saying as the song was going, I feel like the synths just had a grainier element that felt a little oily that just really clashed badly with the rest of what was going on. And as such, it doesn't click for me. And again, it feels like it was using the same palette over and over and over again. And that's just not interesting to me. Like, again, I prefer house more than techno. I've been saying that for years. I might like dub more than I think, especially given how a lot of the bass is produced. But that just didn't do it for me. Like, maybe if there was like a vocal passage there somewhere. Like, I felt like it was a really good foundation for a larger blend that we didn't get. So, yeah. You know what, Sammy? I hear some of that. I feel like there was potential there. Like, again, I feel like it's a good foundation. I imagine it's a good transitional passage if it's getting blended in with something else for the right dance club. And hey, you need music like that. But I don't find it very interesting to talk about in a scene like this. And now for something completely different. Our next one on our list. This is from El Animal Humano from the act, I believe that's Darbe. It's punk music. Berlin punks, Darbe. I got some hardcore. It's going to go pretty fast, pretty loud. Let's go. What is it, the drum mixing here? Or the lack of bass? Oh, there we go. I like that. That's a little filthier. I like this. And song's about over. Okay. That was Codicia y Ficción by Darbe from the album El Animal Humano. Didn't dislike that. Here's the problem. I think you could definitely tell the budget on that song, like especially with the guitar timbre. It's raw, it's gnarly, especially in the second half. It's got some like some thicker, uglier edges, and especially their vocalist. Not good, but like again, it's punk music. You can get away with being a bad vocalist. I feel like the vocals were not as visceral as they could be. Like, I feel like the entire mix as a whole wasn't as visceral as it could be. You look at the drums, especially as well. There just wasn't a lot of impact there. It felt like it was dirty and grimy, a little bit of like crust punk vibes to it. But at the same time, like sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need the whiplash. Yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't say it went over the top or did anything that was all that special, but it was okay. It certainly had a bit of an edge to it that I liked. And as a contrast, I think it was very good. It also got in and got out quickly. It wasn't even 2 minutes long. Sometimes at work. Yeah, Tom Randall, you've been around for about almost half a year. Appreciate you sticking around. Okay. Alrighty. Not sure about the vocal tone. Yeah, again, the drum tone was rough there. I can admit that too. Let's keep moving here. Okay. This is from Brea from the album Aui. Okay. This apparently is attempting to blend footwork, techno, and dance hall with hints of jazz and psychedelia. If this song is not interesting, I don't know what the hell is going to happen here. The song's called Are We There? Oh boy, here we go. Why does it look like this guy looks familiar? This guy looks like the guy who does what's it called? Like the recontextualizations of like he did Blinding Lights, he did Bad Guy with like other stuff around the house, especially being bald. Okay. But yeah, this guy's out of the UK though. Very different person. All right, so let's go to our way there. Let's give it a shot. Seth Everman. Yeah, thank you, Smid. Ooh. Oh, God. Apologies in advance for some of those glassier tones. I can't say I'm a fan. Oh, I hate that vocal mix. I hate that. I really don't like that at all. I'm not hearing any footwork in this at all. Nah, cotton balls isn't it. This is something else. The thing is that the lead synth line isn't bad, but everything else around that synth is just not good. It's really squealing and pitchy. Ugh. I don't like that. Ugh. Yeah, sorry, y'all. Shrimpman, you may have picked the worst possible song to hop in on here. Yeah, I didn't need my headache to get worse either. God, I need some ambient bullshit. Sooner rather than later. Okay, when you promise this many genres and you don't change it up more, you're doing something wrong. I wouldn't even say it's that experimental. Oh god, stolen over. I'm not hearing the jazz. Like, this is closer to future bass and elements. Like a little dubstep. I'm also not hearing any dance hall. I feel like I deserve some dance hall here. How is it still going on? God. Ah! No! Okay, that was from Aui by Brea. The song is Are We There? No, We're Not There. That sucked. That was bad. Oh god. Okay. You already know my opinion on chipmunk dance elements. Or chipmunk vocals that are backed into all this. My issue here is that this feels like a case of search engine optimization by listing off as many genres that are not present on this song. Like, there's no jazz. I don't find this particularly psychedelic, even when you do all the warping effects to end out the song. Excuse me. Like, yeah, that did hurt to listen to. It felt like there was a lot of very tinny, glassy, metallic effects that were drizzled onto it, and they didn't sound good. I'm not sure how that contributed to the groove at all. And honestly, it was a pretty underpowered groove at that. It wasn't really changing up. Once you heard the song, it kind of locked into its position, had a couple change-ups, but that was a song that really could have afforded to be a little bit more kinetic and pounding, and just wasn't. It kind of felt in this very mushy territory, which, again, I don't love a lot of the electronica that was mentioned there, but like, I've heard better techno, I've heard better dance hall. Like, that didn't come close to anything. Like, its interpretation of those genres would come up for Netflix. Yeah, I get that. This has the techno and psychedelic parts, but nothing else. And man, it sounds rough for about 4 minutes and lack of change-ups. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. When it locked into a tone that I just could not stand, it was there for way too long. But yeah, not my thing at all. To each their own. If you like that, all the best to you. I'm not going to your dance party. Let's keep moving, please. Okay, we got some shoegaze. Oh, from Lebanon. Lebanese shoegaze band called Postcards. All right, it's kind of cool. The album is called Ripe, Ruptured in TE. The song here is called Dust Bunnies. Let's give it a shot.
Dust bunnies behind bedroom doors, the craters left by meteors, the windows we rebuild once more, never fully close. The bookmarks in unfinished novels, generations judged immoral. The subtle smell of burnt debris mixed with dust and soil. The ruins of empires past, the sad remains of broken glass. The idiotic wilts.
It's not really shoegaze. It's kind of. But it's a brand of shoegaze that has much more of an edge to it. Like, this feels like something that would have really done well in the 90s. Maybe I sound crazy. This gives me a little bit of Silver Sun Pickups vibes. Yeah, a little 90s alternative. I hear screaming females as well. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I got the lyrics in front of me. This song's sad. Because this is a very political song. Not sure they're as good at this as they want to be. It's not the singer whose issue I have. I'll get into this in a sec. I agree with you, Rid. That was Dust Bunnies by Postcards. The album was called A Ripe, Ruptured in T3. Couple things about the song. First thing I want to highlight is that this is apparently a sonic shift for this band. Apparently they're much more on the dreamier side of shoegaze, and this was a very dark pivot that they've taken. But then when you recognize that this band is Lebanese and they got very political on this album, and you look at the lyrics of the song, and it's very much about the destruction of culture, and it's very clearly referencing the ethnic cleansing and genocide that's going on in Gaza and the West Bank, and also alongside Lebanon. You're like, yeah, I get why it sounds like this. I get the rage to this. And here's the thing. I think for the first 2/3 of the song, it's effective. It's dark. It's effective in that lane. But man, the final third didn't convince me. I feel like the final third needed a mix that was willing to have that low end have more muscle, or the guitars have more crushing meat to them. Actually go beyond shoegaze into something louder and heavier, because I don't think this got all the way there. Excuse me. It's close, but it's not all the way there. And again, the lyrics are intriguing in terms of, like, you got, again, 2/3 of the way there. I like what I heard there. That's honestly some pretty promising vibes, especially from that 90s, slightly post-punk, slightly Silver Sun Pickups vibe. I don't hear the PJ Harvey comparison that the description makes, but I kind of get where it's coming from. It needed to land the crescendo. I just don't think it landed it. Good song, good cause, free Palestine, but that wasn't quite all the way there. All right, next song here. Transistors. Okay, I know Transistors. I've heard about these before. Red hot guitars, top with jubilant top of lung vocals. We got some punk music up in here. The album is called Everything Will Never Happen Again. The song is called, oh god, the song is called Country Music. It's by the Transistors. Let's give it a shot. Tom, you're not wrong. Except Sleater Kinney had a way better low end. Okay, I get what this is doing. I'm also not that impressed by it. Alright, I like the solo here. Yeah, no, that's part of my point. Like, Sleater Kinney normally has better low end than this. Alright. That was Country Music by the Transistors from the album Everything Will Never Happen Again. First off, as much as I'm a country fan, they're talking about something different with country music, or they kind of are. They're trying to refer to music from the backcountry in something that's raw and trying to speak to like rural towns being disenfranchised. And they're a UK band. They're not talking about US country music, or not directly. I'll put my pitchfork aside. Like, I'm normally the person who would be on the front lines, like, okay, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about with country. This is referring to something different. That being said, this still isn't very good. Again, the production is okay at best. I feel like some of the guitar work is like it had some interesting tones, but the drums didn't have a lot of power. The vocals felt very slapdash. It was all right. Like, in terms of punk music, it was fine. But again, it's not doing anything that I felt that was all that impressive. Like, if we're going to make the Sleater Kinney comparison, there's nowhere near the same tightness. And, excuse me. And I think that's a huge mistake. I just felt like it was very, not by the numbers, but it felt like it was taking easy shots. And I feel like that could have been a more bold or interesting song than it was. That's all. All right, next one here. Looks like we got some electronic music. Okay, is it like ambient electronic? Oh, dubstep, minimalist dubstep coming up. Okay, it's from Andre Russu. The album is called A Chance Meeting with Choice. The song is called Radio. Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's give it a shot. We're going all over the place tonight. I'm kind of into it. Well, okay then. Yeah, I've awoken creatures from the deep as well. Can I be the guy that says Spunk Shine does this better? Because I kind of want to say it. Like this specific throwback to a 2000s era tone, but also like that thicker, undulating low end that's a little bit uncanny, but kind of fits within like contemporary sides. Yeah. Okay, you didn't know I was going to say that. It's like, it makes sense that I would say that. You didn't know it, though. I do like the groove here, though. This is a cool groove, though. Ooh. I like this. This is weird, but it's weird, but in a way I very much like. It's uncanny, but I wouldn't say like it's super spooky. Like, it's the sort of thing that is like, I'm hearing some video game music being description. I'm like, I get it. Like, because it's got a very exploratory tone. Also, wow, that low end, the percussion goes hard on this. Yeah, Spunk Shine's groovier than this, but like, there's some impact here. I get it. Ugh. It has some meat to it. I'm also going to explain why the oily elements in this work a lot better than in other mixes. Hang on. Like, I do appreciate a mix in this lane that is insisting on itself. And this does insist on itself. Ooh, that's going hard. Yeah, I like this a lot. You know what? I hear a little funk on this. I get it. Ooh. I kind of want to hear the percussion change up one more time, though. Like, it's locked into a really good groove. I want to see it shift one more time. Or just end. That works, too. That was Radio from Andre Russu, A Chance Meeting with Choice. That was great. I don't say that about that often, but that was really, really damn good. I feel like it took a little to get going, and again, I can make the Spunkshine comparison in that it very much feels indebted to a certain type of, like, kind of oily, quasi-alien 2000s electronica, but when the percussion came in, it had that oily splatter percussive impact to it. Excuse me. That's what really made it work. And I'll describe why it works that much more effectively, because every part of that mix felt slightly ragged at the edges. Every part of it was looking to kind of slap you upside the head. The percussion was nastier. The percussion, the oilier synths had that vibe. Even the bass line had a little bit more kinetic snarl to it. Like when you have all those pieces together and they feel congruent with each other, that's when I'm a little bit more accommodating of elements that sound a little bit more uncanny and alien. That's kind of why I really liked that song. It built a great groove, especially in its like second 2/3, and it kept it up. It kept evolving. It kept adding layers to it. It never felt like it got stale. And also, again, like it's insisting on itself. It's in your face, but it almost felt like it had something to say, so I have no problem with it being in my face. Yeah, so that was excellent. I really liked that. Now, again, do I prefer Spunkshine because Spunkshine's a little bit more groove-driven, a little bit more sinuous, a little more slinky in the low end? Probably. This is less subtle. I don't mind that, though, when it goes that hard. That was really fun. Yeah, I'd have to do drift funk, Celia Adeling. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Loved how it wasn't repetitive, and there was change up. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. When we have a lot of electronic music that we hear on this, when you hear one that's trying a little harder, and that very much was, I can respect that a lot. Okay, so I want to check something here quickly because it looks like it's out of sync with what I have in my back end here. Okay, Viso. I don't know what this is, though. I guess, okay, so that's a vinyl reissue. We're gonna skip that. This Viso Visions EP, might as well play it. It's not showing up on my list, but again, if I'm skipping Car Seat Headrest for the good of everyone, well, actually not for the good of everyone, but the good of the stream. Let's see how this goes. We'll play this quickly. I don't know what song it is. Let's go. Also, I'm gonna change the lights here. Hang on. Well, that's bubbly. I don't love the vocal snippet here. The vocal chops I don't love, but like the rest of this is okay. Ah, got you. Okay. God, that's grainy. That's really grainy. This is doing a lot. It's a very crunchy mix. A low-pass filter exists, people. You can use it. Yeah, I don't know, folks. Wow. I was kind of vibing with it too. Like that's, we'll get to it in a second. Abrupt ending aside, that was from the Visions EP by Viso. Okay, I don't hate that. Actually, for the large part, it wasn't bad at all. I think I don't love the chipmunk vocals. I don't love the overly grainy progressions. I feel like the mix wasn't as well balanced as it could have been. Like it's one of those examples of songs that it's a great counterbalance and counterexample. This is a song that's also very much in your face, but I don't like a lot of the residual textures around it, so it just goes down a lot worse. It's more grain and static around it than impact. I feel like there's a very narrow balance to getting that right. And I feel like this song doesn't really get there. Excuse me. I also don't think it built as effectively. I wasn't really as wowed by the crescendos or any specific internal dynamics within the song. It was just like a lot of the sample flips were fine. Like it wasn't bad, but it's not something I would ever go back to. It's just, again, it's one of those textural experiments I don't think really stuck the landing. Great textures on the back and didn't need to be added. Not saying the chipmunk vocal portions were better. Yeah, you know what? It's one of those things I'm like, I didn't mind the house dynamics of what it was trying to do, but I feel like a lot of the textural choices were just all wrong for me specifically. Yeah, no, it's coming out of a Game Boy Advance speaker. No, I wouldn't go that far. Like there was nothing it wasn't really chiptune in that regard. It felt like it felt really like a hip hop, like a chipmunk soul beat that had been trying to infuse with a house beat, and it just didn't mesh properly. And that happens. All right, let's keep going. That's a reissue. We're skipping it. That's that car seat headrest song that's 10 minutes long. We're skipping that as well. Okay, here we go. This is the music of Hilgard von Bingham, Part 2, blending music concrete, dub, field recordings, and free jazz to capture the life of a medieval mystic. Oh boy, I'm excited. The song is called O Virga Mediatrix, featuring Bill Orcutt. Let's give this a shot. I'm actually kind of excited for this. All right, immediate credit. I hear the actual field recordings and a little of the free jazz. This is also a song that has a lot of texture. I'm sure it does the most with it. Okay, those are some cool atmospheric changes. I like that. I like the snarl. I like how it's growing here. I also like the guitar tuning here. This is like that guitar in the broader cushion of like ambient sound. I like that. Ooh. Okay. I hear what you're doing. Yeah, not so. I like this way more than I probably should. Ah, god damn it. Because I have the perfect comparison for this. I should have two perfect comparisons for this. That's some nice guitar work. That's some really nice guitar work. Yeah, the atmosphere on this is excellent. Really, the past several songs have been an exercise in textural exploration. That's fair, Sammy. Oh, this is cool. This is really cool. Fading out. Well, that was Overga Mediatrix featuring Bill Orcutt, who supplied all the guitars to that song. I actually looked him up on Bandcamp midway through. He's a neoclassical guitarist. This is from Larum for the project The Music of Hilgard von Bingham Part 2. Okay. So there's a lot I really like about this. Again, what we've observed the past three songs has been an experience of textural, of how specific abrasive textures work and function. This is one of those cases where you have that crackling of the field recording that's a little bit more ambient, but it's more at the forefront. It establishes the foundation, the tableau of where things are. And then the guitar has distortion to it. And it's nestled a little deeper. It never overpowers that texture, but it's always there. It accentuates the atmosphere. It creates that environment of mysticism, calls back to an earlier time. So it evokes two movies for me. The first movie is one you might be more familiar with. It's the Dev Patel movie, The Green Knight, which calls back to Arthurian legend, specifically the tale of the Green Knight. Not a great movie, hot take. I don't love the movie, honestly. It feels like the pacing's really off with it. It's got a bit of an A24 problem that I don't always feel like it's beautifully shot, but I'm not always sure that it lands as starkly as it should. But one thing I will acknowledge there is that it did produce that very much of that hallucinogenic vibe surrounding certain elements of Arthurian legend, where the broad elements of psychedelia make sense in the foundations of myth and legend. The other place where it really strikes me is Dead Man, which was a film from the 90s that actually starred Johnny Depp. But the soundtrack was done by Neil Young, basically improvising to what he saw on screen. And there was a quasi-improvisational feel to a lot of the guitar work here. You could tell how it was kind of like spiking off in odd directions and kind of noodling in odd places. That's kind of the vibe I was getting with that. And honestly, it really made a lot of sense. It really pulled me into the quasi-psychedelic, really thick, suffocating atmosphere of the song. So yeah, high recommendation. That was impressive. I like that a lot. Yeah, Kyle Calgren did do an old video on Dead Man. The video, the movie is worth seeing. I actually really do like it. Okay, next up. And now for something completely different. This is from Celia W.A. The album is called Facade, and the song is called Demunage. Demunage, I think it is. Demunage. All right, let's give it a shot. Yeah, totally different vibe. This is such a very different groove at all, like completely. It's actually French West Indies, actually, so it's not quite South African, South American. Hailing from Guadeloupe. Very playful with the song. Also, apparently, she contributes flute to this as well. Yeah, I'd play this during the summer or on vacation. Little Sade, I hear that.
Tout ça yo dit, me j'affine plaisir si malin nous trapper. Chatia, c'est yon alors, c'est yon l'homme qui calave l'homme. Nous j'avons et puis parole à sorte, ça comprend nous c'est Timoun Azor. Tout ça yo fait, tout ça yo prend,
This is where my poor French really does me a disservice, because I can't make heads or tails of this. It's a really nice guitar line, though. Ooh. I'd say the drums are doing the heavy lifting on this, honestly, because the percussion is great here. Because you pay attention, the bass is not doing much. It is a flute, you're correct. That was Démounage by Celia W.A. from the album Façade. That was such a distinctive change of pace. Bit of an R&B vibe, but also with a very distinct Latin rhythm. I really liked how ethereal that felt. I think the drums were doing a lot of work there, a lot of very nice textured percussion. Yeah, it was. I really appreciate the flute additions. I really appreciate how lush and like warm and summery the mix was. I will say that that is a song that could have afforded a more interesting bass line. Like, if you're paying attention, the bass was there as a foundation, but it wasn't really doing anything. Like, the drums were doing a lot more. And again, my French is bad, so I was looking at the lyrics. I can't say I made a lot out of it. So again, translating might have a little bit more to it. It was just generally very pleasant. That's the brand of R&B or material in this lane that is R&B adjacent. I don't want to call it world music because, again, I don't like the term world music. But yeah, there's a lot to that I found very, very charming. Like, that's an incredibly easy song to listen to. I'm not sure I'd go back to it much. I'm not sure it really grabbed me in the same way as others have. But for a change of pace, for a very nice breather, I like that a lot. Good song. All right, next song. Oh, boy. Okay. This is from Haiku. Okay, so super cute, punky pop record. The album is called The Joys of Being Pure at Heart. And the song is called Fun for Everybody. Fun for Everyone. Oh, boy. All right. I'm hoping this is fun. I don't have high expectations with that album cover. Let's see what we get. That might be fair. Yeah, Drasek, you weren't wrong. This is Twee. This would totally soundtrack a sitcom in the mid-2010s. It would. Especially with that vocal. And it never goes that hard. fine. I just don't hear what's special about it. Got fans. Yeah, I don't think Bea Badoobie is the right comparison. Like, I hear a little bit, but Bea Badoobie sounds more immediate. This is not. This is more cutesy. Guitar solo's kind of nice, though. Oh, that. Okay, the woohoo kind of took me out of that for a second. But you know what? That was Fun for Everyone by Hachiku from the album The Joys of Being Pure at Heart. I don't want to be mean and crap on this. I don't. Because here's the thing. I have said a number of times that twee music is just not for me. It's not my thing. It's cute, but it just kind of bounces off me. It honestly kind of rubs me a little bit the wrong way because I think there's a brand of twee music that can come across as really insincere. That's not that. This is, I'll be honest, this feels very sincere to its lane, but I thought the vocals were really unsubstantial. I don't think it had a lot of impact to it. I think the guitars were generally pleasant. I like the solo that they kind of had for about 4 bars, and then they turned it, and then they ended the song. Yeah, but it's just not a lot that stands out to me. I would have heard this soundtracking a TV show in the mid-2010s, and I would never have remembered it. It feels very background to me, especially as the vocals were so hushed. And the lyrics, I actually pulled the lyrics alongside here, they weren't particularly memorable. Like, there just wasn't a lot of flair to them. They felt very much of, I'm into somebody, and it's like, and I want you to be, and I really want to be, I want this person to be engaged with me in a moment, and I'm comfortable in this, like, crush in what it is. And I'm willing to accept whatever the framing it is. It just doesn't have much to it. It feels very underpowered to me. That's what I will say. Not bad by any means. I know for a fact it's not to my taste. But again, just didn't do a lot. Yeah, honestly, Fu, I agree with you there. That's not, like, that would be kind of perfect for where this belongs. Or like Girls Season 5. All right. I'm going to skip the next one here because the next one is extended mixes, and I really hate when they dump extended mixes onto the sort of like notable list here because it feels like a chore to get through. And we are already, this episode is already going to run long. We're already over 2 hours in. All right, next one here though. This is from Kingdom Balongi. The album's called Kembo. I have the feeling this is African. African gospel and Afrofuturism. Okay. That could be interesting. The song is called Boya Kotala. Goes for about 5 minutes. We might have a lot going on here. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, that is a bass. I feel that.
Yeah, yeah,
That is strident.
yeah, yeah.
I feel. I do not speak the language. This is. Where are they from?
kolo kolo toza ko adore yo toza ko netole yo 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 yako fanda fanda fanda
I feel like we're a half step away from a crescendo that's really gonna kick off.
Yes, to bengeur papa, Yamamoto kebele, bakoko banetolio, banjaluta la banetolio, Viso pe banana seto netolio, kolona momoe, omiso pe mitema.
I'm expecting there to be a change up, and I'm not hearing it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't dislike this. I'm trying to understand it. It's building to something. Huh. Not sure we're getting the change up. Okay, that's from the album Kembo by Kingdom Balongi. The song is called Boya Katala. A little bit I've been able to find just by like reading what I can find on the Bandcamp stuff. Okay. This feels very Pan-African in that there's some level of collaboration from the Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda. There's a blend of a number of different African languages, including Swahili, a little bit of French as well, and it's tied to African gospel. It does feel like I'm listening into something that feels like I'm not in community for this. I get that, but at the same time, it's intriguing. Like, I like how they had that thicker foundation that was very spare in the instrumental that really set a stage and made everything feel huge and important. I love how the vocals were mastered in and along that. I don't understand the language at the same time, but it felt spiritual. Like, it felt like it did set a tone. At the same time, though, I was waiting for the instrumental change-up that didn't happen. And that's kind of what leaves me on the outside looking in. I'm like, okay, I get what you're doing. I'm on board. I don't fully get it, but I want to hear more. Excuse me. I want to hear more. And yet fully pulled in. Like, again, it felt like it was something made made for those in community, and I'm not in that community, but I want to know more. Like, it's the sort of thing that inspires curiosity. You could feel how well mastered and the power that was underscoring that. And that was compelling. I didn't fully get it, but it was compelling, and it's the sort of thing that has me wanting to hear more. I kind of wish I understood more, but that is what it is. Swahili, yeah, that's why I didn't understand. I heard the French, though. Yeah, I heard some of the French as well, but my French isn't very good. So, yeah, I do wish it went further. All right, next song. All right, this is a live album. We're skipping that. Okay, we got some, dark pop. Oh, boy. I have not been impressed with a lot of dark pop I've heard. So this is from Paraph. The album is called Metropolis. The song is called Bird Life. Okay, let's give it a shot. Gotta change the background here. There we go. This might be closer to like progressive house and melodic techno, so I'm on board for that. Let's see where it goes. A little tinny though with that synth, and the percussion doesn't have much going on, honestly. It's a little club boom in that, but end of the club boom, like 2012. Like, this feels like something that would have actually gone off, like, this feels like something that Calvin Harris would have sampled. And I also hear a little trance as well, yeah, like a little underground trance. That beat's picking up, okay. Yeah, I hear early Tiesto in that. I definitely hear that. A little grainy though, like I'm not as wowed by this. Like, oh, you can do a better drop than that. Yeah, kind of underwhelming, all they stared. Yeah, kind of locked into one groove. One, two, three, and nope, not enough. Not enough. Sorry, not enough. Thank God we got some jazz coming, because this is not doing it for me. Like, we've had electronic music with more oomph to it than this tonight. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, Nick. Hit mid. Those are cool little cascades, but you introduced them earlier into the song, not at this point. You're not impressing me, sorry. I know my trance, this isn't doing it. Alright, that was from Metropolis by Paraph. The song is called Bird Life. Wow, that was underwhelming. And you know what's sad about it? Because, like, it wasn't doing much that I thought was bad. Like, I think, like, overall tonally, it proceeded well. Like, I think there was some... the percussion wasn't bad. It felt very accessible. The vocals were good. Excuse me. But that is an entirely example of when you have you have a good foundation and you just don't do anything with it. That was a case where, okay, it's building, it's got some nice, like, there's some nice ideas, and then the drop comes up and the drop just flatlines. There's no progression to it. There's nothing that goes a little bit harder. And that breaks my heart because this is a song that could have gone harder and it just doesn't. Deeply disappointing. Again, like, it wasn't, like, I hear the callbacks to house and trance and that sort of thing like that. I certainly get why it's got that sort of album art, which is trying to be very chic and very, not imposing, but a little bit, like, evokes some level of grandeur. But at the same time, like, I'm like, yeah, but it's not as impressive as it thinks it is. And that kind of irked me. Like, it's cute. Again, Odo, I hear that. It is a cute little song. But a song like this could have been more than cute. And that's what bugs me. It might spell life, but doesn't have enough of it. Rid, you nailed it. You absolutely nailed it there. All right. Enough of this. Jazz. All right. This is from Nick Marks. The album's called Cinematic Chromatics Volume 3. The song is called Alpha Bait. Not Alpha Beta. Alpha Bait. Let's play it. Oh, yeah, we got some freaking jazz up in here. Oh, this is quirky. This is very quirky, actually. Really nice woodwinds on this. Woodwinds and the horns are really good. I'm not sure I'm convinced on the groove section yet. A lot of spacey embellishments here. Yeah, it is goofy. It's very playful. Which I'm not against, but it is very playful, I will say that. It's playful, but the woodwinds bring it back around to having a little bit more class. I like those. Like, the woodwinds and the strings nail that. Just a sec, I hear that. Like, Anderson .Paak would be perfect on this. With the sleaziest verse. Like, he would use the term tiggle bitties in his verse. Sax solo! Oh, baby! This is so elaborate in its orchestration here. Like, I'm laughing and being goofy with it, but at the same time, there's a level of craftsmanship on this that is really impressive. I love Bruno Mars to invest in this sort of budget, but I don't think his gambling debts would allow that. Okay, that was a great transition. I love that. That was great. Oh, trumpet. Love it. I love the free jazz elements. There's a little bit more spontaneity to this that I really like. Improv sax, but followed by improv flute. Don't love the ending of that. Okay, but that was Alphabet from Nick Marks, and the album is called Cinematic Chromatics Volume 3. This is apparently the conclusion of a trilogy that was in this territory. God, that was so much fun. I needed that. That was so playful. Love the string backdrop. I love how well the flutes and the other woodwinds played alongside the saxophone and the trumpet solos. I really love the groove of that, balanced out so well. It was quirky, but it was the sort of thing where the quirkiness is so well supported in the mix that you kind of imagine everyone else being able to hop up alongside of it. And it felt fun. Like, that's the sort of jazz that it's taking itself seriously just enough to not take itself seriously. And it was loose. It was freewheeling. There's a lot of great ideas there. Yeah, nothing to complain about. That was just great. That was so much fun. And not gonna lie, there are some songs today where I have been a little bit more serious, and I kind of appreciate those moments where it's just like, yeah, this is freewheeling. That's nice. That was a really good vibe. That was such a good vibe. I'm taking that. That was great. Yes, absolutely. All right. But we're going to more electronic music coming up after that. Yeah, exactly. When you have musicians who are doing fun things on a record where it's very much of like, you could tell exactly how much everyone was having fun playing on that song. And that's rare because we've had to deal with a lot of improvisational music in this particular stream, and not all of it works because a lot of it's very much of like, it feels very shifting. It feels like it's very self-serious. That was not self-serious. Like, the competency was there, but it didn't feel like it was, like, it felt like it was all playing into the vibe and presentation. There was a level of dexterousness in the composition that allowed that sort of playfulness in it. And I feel like that is so very rare, especially when you have somebody who is so technically competent. Anyway, let's keep moving. This is from Smogo. The album is called Submit to the Forest. Also the name of the song. Apparently we're dealing with some dark ambient and dubstep and down-tempo. Oh boy, here we go. Alright, let's give it a shot. Speaking of self-serious. I also like Lord of the Rings, yeah. That's not Lord of the Rings. That's really interesting percussion. Oh, that's cool. Like, those vocals sound like The Ring. This is not what I expected. This is doing a lot. Also, I don't love my lights. I'm going to change this a little bit. Also make it a little more bright. This is gonna sound weird, but I have an ex that would love this. I don't know how I feel about this one. This is an odd one. Not a bad one, but an odd one. Psychedelic's the wrong term for it. I get where you're coming from, but it's not quite psychedelic. Especially with those larger guitar flourishes. Those are interesting here. I have comparisons for this. I think I'll be able to contextualize it, I hope. Of course, this was going to come in. Foo, honestly, I hear it. I hear it. You're right. Like, this could work for a clipping mix. Honestly, I kind of want... I'd love to hear Darbe digs over this. much do I like this? I don't know. It's close. I like it. I definitely like this. A little Blade Runner, but we'll get into... You'll get into why I said the Lord of the Rings comparison in a second. I really like the texture percussion on this. We're almost done here. Alright, that was Submit to the Forest by Smogo. I feel like there's some additional contextualization that needs to be required for this song. And then I'm going to add my context on top of this. So this is apparently out of Lithuania, and it's a blend of house and deep techno, some down tempo as well. And you can very clearly articulate like those deeper, throatier, almost hushed masculine vocals paired alongside the more organic textured percussion. Also the elements that are like you had those echoing guitar phrases going across. So I made the Lord of the Rings comparison, but I also made it's like a techno-futurist like adaptation of Lord of the Rings, where you still have some of that ethereal, slightly uncanny energy that would come out of like say Mirkwood or one of those old forests in Lord of the Rings, but if it was all like metallic and sci-fi and cyberpunk. So, which is why I'm also thinking like, yeah, Daveed Diggs and Clipping have that album coming out in about a week now. That like they wouldn't hop on this groove, but I hear it, especially off of Visions of Bodies Being Burned, which had a lot of that organic texture blended with more contemporary, but also slightly future-looking percussion. So yeah, I really liked that. It was kind of a weird vibe. It took me a while to get on board with its energy. And there's a darker surrealism to it that I think is going to take... I'm not sure how I'm going to sit with it, but is it possible for Clipping to appear on Bandwidth? Yes, absolutely. If it's a long song, probably not, because I don't want to get the stream taken down. But yeah, that was really cool. Again, I'm not sure how I fully feel about it, but that was cool. I will definitely stick up for that. All right. Let's keep moving here. We're coming up on the end, and we're almost going to be we're over 2.5 hours, which I'm, again, very happy the stream hasn't been killed. But a lot of these are going to be moved past relatively quickly. All right, live album. We skip it. All right, this is a Wilco-endorsed composer. Oh, boy. Okay. Never like seeing someone who is endorsed by an act, because that means they are scrabbling for whatever they can. So apparently this is experimental neoclassical ambient. All right, you haven't been on my ambient bullshit yet. This is from Matt McBain. The album's called Buoy. The song's called 1111. Let's give it a shot. Also need to get the lights right here. Hang on a moment. This is pretty. I like this. Some yellows. There we go. Yeah, I appreciate good ambient. Looks like there's more going on than your usual ambient, though. Like, especially with that percussion there. It's very brittle. Forest doming. Oh my god. I hear it. I'm not going to complain. You're not wrong. This is odd though. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more atmospheric, but those synths are very forward. Also, we have not gotten a lot of vocals this entire session. Like, a lot of this has been predominantly instrumental. These are very strident synths, I will say that. Yeah, like, this guy's predominantly a violinist. I should hear some of that, and I'm not hearing it here. This is nice, but I'm feeling like it's not really evolving. Like, you have the percussion ebbing in and out, but I don't love the synths. It's pleasant. I'm not wowed by it, though. Okay, just get the name of this here. From Matt McBain, from the album Buoy, that was 1111. I gotta be honest, I didn't really care for that one. I'll tell you why. I feel like the percussion wasn't really doing much. It had its very set rhythm, and a lot of the synths were very much in the forefront. I thought that was going to be a lot more ambient than it was. I feel like a lot of the synths were very much in the forefront, and they were kind of driving a melody, but I don't think it was especially interesting. It was a sort of case where I could tell that there was a decent amount going on there, and they were trying to... Like, I said before, there were tracks that were insisted upon themselves, but that's one that feels like it did, and it didn't need to. It felt like that synth was very much at the forefront. I'm like, okay, I know what you're doing, but you're not delivering anything beyond that. It's pretty, but what else have you added? And I'm not sure I got it with that song. Especially as when the percussion faded out, you recognize just how little there was there. Yeah, I hear some of the RPG Maker vibes as well. Not a great comparison. Like, I don't mind RPG Maker, but to each their own. Yeah. And there was percussion. There was, like, again, it's the sort of song that kind of washes over you. There's just not much to it. It was kind of pretty in a moment, but it didn't evolve much. It certainly didn't justify its runtime. Yeah, I don't even think it was that specifically ambient, because ambient, normally you're doing more with texture, and that song just did not have the texture to really engage me. All right, let's keep moving. All right, this is from Christy Harper. The album's it's an EP. It's called Luna's View. The song's called Miami Love. Okay. Might have more vocals on this. Who knows? Let's see what we get. Or not. Okay. I did not look at the genres here. Deep house and disco. Okay. Not a bad bass line, but it's not doing a ton here. I mean, it's all right. I think it's more of a case of where the percussion is a little bit more driving, but I'm not sure it's doing anything that's all that interesting. A very ghostly vocal alongside of it. I'm not wowed by this. There's going to be a change-up coming. There has to be. Oh, I don't like that change. I don't like that at all. Where you switch up and you have the same loop, which wasn't that interesting. It's made it more like elongated and metallic. Nope, don't care for that. Yeah, I don't care for this. I'm waiting for that melody to do something interesting, but again, it's kind of very much in its comfort zone here. I can agree with that, Realtor. I think that the drums are not as interesting as they were on other songs in this lane. This feels very conventional. I know exactly the dance party this gets thrown on. Not a bad for that dance party, but like for what we've been hearing tonight, I don't think it's that special. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, we're just done. Okay. All right, that's from Christy Harper. The project is the Luna's View EP. The song is called Miami Love. Man, it certainly does feel like a Miami love song because, like, wow, that's insubstantial. You know what? It's not bad per se. I think the groove is fine. It's well produced. It's well balanced. But at the same time, like, the main melody doesn't really evolve much. The vocals don't go anywhere. The change up it has is trying to elongate and make some of those textures feel more metallic, which I think is completely the wrong choice for this sort of breezy atmospheric vibe. To me, it just feels like it's not bad for what it is, but I also feel like it makes a couple of choices that keep it from being better than what it could be. Not a bad song, but it also kind of doesn't use its runtime effectively. I would probably pass off on it. I'm glancing at the selections. I was hoping for better, but I felt underwhelmed that I liked. It was an atmosphere with locks in the switch ups don't help. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think the switch ups do much of anything. It has its atmosphere, it does its own thing, but it's not going to go further than that. All right, next song. All right, this is from Yamamoto and West. Okay, so we got some ambient music blended with some guitar melody. I like that in general. Yeah, I kind of zoned out of it as well. And actually, anyone who's stuck around this long, besides hitting the like button, that'd be awesome. I would also like to say, like, if you stuck around this long and have had to go through some of the tracks where you will zone out here, this is not like. I will say this episode has been pretty engaging, all things considered, because of the amount of variety on display. But we are nearly 3 hours in, so I respect anybody who is sticking around this long. All right. Next one here. This is from Yamamoto and West. The album is called Microdoses, and the song is called Lichen. Let's give it a shot. Oh, that is certainly twee. That's very twee, actually. Change the lights here. Hang on. That's a lot of tinkly. Hear all that tinkling? Inspire you to do something else, like not listen to the stream and maybe visit, No, I'm not gonna finish it. That's crass. Yeah, it feels like it's got like one like oscillating tone, but like I was expecting a guitar by what it was describing here. This is not guitar, this is like a keyboard. It's not even that ambient, honestly. Yeah, I'm not really feeling this. Also, that percussion sounds really bad. Like, it sounds so thin and brittle, but also very prominent. Feels like it's very clipping. Listen, if you're on 6 hours of sleep and it's almost time for bed, go to bed. You don't have to listen to me what I'm doing here. I fully admit that. Not gonna lie, after I'm done this, I'm probably going to bed after this very soon. Well, you say that's music to fall asleep, but now the percussion is getting all crunchy and a little like more around it. There's not much of a low end on this at all. Yeah, keyboard line's starting to get really grating, not gonna lie. It's a switch up, but like again, this is not what I was expecting at all. It's not even really record scratching, it's more like skipping. That was Lichen from Microdoses by Al Yamamoto and West. I didn't really care for that. I can tell you why, too. Some of this was like the expectations set up by the description of the song, where it was saying it was going for more ambient, and there would be guitars as well within that ambient music, and that's not at all what we got. We got the very prominent synth melody, which is fine, I guess, but then you had that very extremely brittle kind of crunching like percussion that built up around in the second half of the song, and it felt very twee, but twee in a way where it wasn't going to have much in the way of body or going beyond that. It felt like it was doing its own thing, which, yeah, it was glitchy. It was it had moments where it felt like it was kind of interesting, but I wasn't excited by it. It didn't do a lot for me. Like, it felt like it was very much in its own space and didn't really evolve as much as it could have outside of said space. I don't know. Like, again, the pedigree of the acts behind it might be enough to get some people on board. It's not for me. Yeah, I think they were trying to emulate rainfall or dew on lichen or grass. Yeah, I get that, but then actually embrace some of the ambient textures that you advertise and actually have some, like, have the field recordings, have it feel like it's more set in that environment rather than that, like, bouncy piano line that doesn't really match with anything. Well, it's not even a piano, it's more like a keyboard that is more chimey, which, yeah, didn't really care for that. Yeah, I wasn't grabbed by the atmosphere. In that, I will say this, I don't think there was a lot of atmosphere there. It felt very much like it had a melodic tone, but the production wasn't really adding much more behind it. All right. Okay, let's keep moving here. Next song, we're skipping it because that's a compilation. All right, we got some experimental shoegaze. All right, I'm okay with some experimental shoegaze. That can be interesting. This is from Deora. The album is called Tapor. The song, and we're dealing with the title track here. Let's go. One, two, three, four. I'm not hearing the experimentation in the shoegaze. Very 90s. Very 90s shoegaze. More Britpop, honestly, for being real. Like, it's not atmospheric enough to be shoegaze. It feels way more Britpop. Also advertises grunge, I hear that too. Honestly, not really. It's not heavy enough to be grunge. I think I know what the issue is with this. Like, this reverb section is kind of the issue with the song, honestly. Okay. I take it back. Good change up here. I like the change up. Don't worry, y'all. It's gonna be over soon. Not just this song, but like the stream in general. We feel like we've been going on for over 3 hours. That's saying we're coming up on 3 hours, which is a lot. Honestly, the fact that we haven't been killed, like, fingers crossed. I think you bring up a good point here, Dario, and I'm going to come into this in a second. I wouldn't even say it's a Doom comparison, but it's like... That was Sephora by Deora from the album of the same name. Okay. So the issue when it comes to this brand of shoegaze that very obviously feels like a throwback is that you kind of need something else that helped differentiate it, add a little bit more muscle or meat to it. Excuse me. I feel like the bass lines aren't there. I feel like the drums were not there. I feel like the vocals really weren't there. But then you start realizing that it's mastered in a way that kind of has it, like, pull its punches a little bit. Like, you kept expecting the hook to really crash in, have a little bit of a stronger sense of dynamics, and it just doesn't have it. So when I started hearing that this is experimental shoegaze as advertised, I'm like, no, it's not. This sounds like any other shoegaze you had heard out of the 90s, especially the stuff that was near or close to grunge. So, like Dari, like, again, it's got sharper textures, and some of the percussion is okay, but again, it doesn't feel like it's going heavy, and it feels like some of this should go a little heavier. It should have some more muscle to it, and it just does not have that. And again, the vocals aren't good per se, but if the vocals were blended better a little bit further back into the mix, I could even see it being a little bit more intriguing. But then you also realize that this is trying to coast an atmosphere, and I'm not sure the atmosphere is very good, and I'm not sure the tune is very good here either. I don't know. I feel like that's a song I kind of wanted to like a little bit more. Nah, I wouldn't even put it in Deftones category. Deftones tries way harder than this. Yeah. Again, I was there for the vibe, but I wanted it to be a little more. But okay, we're in the home stretch here. Got some punk coming up here. This is from Motorbike. Pure punk and rock and roll. That's how it's being described. All right. The album's called Kick It Over. The song's called Currency. Let's hit it. All right, there we go. This has got some more meat to it. I like this more. Yeah, I would agree. It does sound better. See how it goes. I think I know the issue with the song too. Yeah. Alright, that was Currency by Motorbike from the album Kick It Over. It was just still going. Okay then. Alright. Okay. Moving on from that. It was fine. I like the firmer bass line. I like a little bit more like actual muscle to a sort of punk song. I wouldn't say the vocals were awe-inspiring. I wouldn't say that a lot of the lead riff was inspiring. Honestly, I think what was most distracting for me was how brittle a lot of the percussion felt. It didn't feel like it was well supporting the rest of the mix. So it kind of felt, a lot of it felt a little bit sickly to me overall. Yeah, probably. It did feel like the ending was very much a lead into the next song on the album, which is fine, all things considered. Excuse me. But I think I don't know, like it feels like that's the sort of song that should have a little bit more vigor to it, but it wasn't produced to really pop off or really have that added level of spark. Yeah, so it wasn't. I wouldn't call it super unique. There's a brand of that sort of garage which was a little colorless that didn't totally go off the way it should have. And again, I think making the Buzzcocks comparison is a little off because Buzzcocks had way more firepower than that did. Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't bad. I liked it more than the shoegaze, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like the general statement I've made about a lot of the punk that I've covered this time is like, yeah, it's good. Like there's some quality that's on display, but I'm like, a little more energy, a little bit more intensity, a little bit more at the forefront, have some muscle to what you have in the mix, because this is just, it's not moving the meter, and it should be. Anyway, got some space rock here. This is from Split Moon from the album More Clouds, More Stars. The song is called More Clouds. Oh my god, is this 7 minutes long? No, I'm not playing a 7-minute song. We're past 11. We're 3 hours in. I actually need to be. The odds of this stream getting killed is very high. I'm not going to risk it here. The compilation's not here. Oh, okay. So now we got two albums here that are not otherwise covered. That's a double B-side. We're gonna skip that. That's a re-recording. Skipping that. That's also re-recording. We're skipping that. Okay, we got 3 songs left here. All right, so this is from Blue Jeans from Synapse Sun. Bright and pulsing pop built across dance grooves. Okay, you know what? I'm going to try this. I don't think there's that much here. It's like 3 minutes long. Okay. See what we got.
I'm not your enemy, feeding on the energy. I always hope that we could be friends. If life is just a fallacy, sugar in the cavity, how come I never wanted to end? It's not an island paradise, only shadows on the wall.
I mean, it's produced like a pop song, which I don't mind.
When a stranger comes to call, tiger teeth in the moonlight. I thought I saw you cracking a smile. Tiger teeth in the sunlight.
Pretty jaunty, all things considered.
So I've been a slave to everything. Now all those ties I'm severing and filling up my days with dreams of you.
I hear the Pet Shop Boys
And I've
comparison
been thinking
now.
of the place we met, and now I'm falling with no safety net. And I only hope that all your lies are true. It's not an island paradise, only shadows on the wall. It's not an island paradise when a stranger comes to call. Tiger teeth in the moonlight. I thought I saw you cracking a smile. Tiger teeth in the sunlight. And I'm lonely like an only child.
I mean, it's pretty playful. I don't think the vocals are best suited for these sort of instrumentation, though. Like, this is very disco, and this is not a singer who can do disco well.
Tiger teeth in the moonlight, in the moonlight, in the moonlight. I thought I saw you cracking a smile. I thought I saw you. I thought I saw you. I thought I saw tiger teeth in the sunlight, in the sunlight, in the sunlight. And I'm lonely like an only child. I'm so lonely.
1, 2, 3, and... Wow, I called how that was going to end very quickly. All right, that was from Synapsin from the album Blue Jeans. The song was called Tire Teeth. I kind of liked that. I didn't love it, and I can explain why. It had a very retro disco throwback vibe to it, which is a lot of fun. And honestly, it had some jauntiness. I kind of like how the strings were integrated there. But one thing I will say is that, wow, that vocalist didn't fit it at all. Like, there was no soul to that. He felt a little languid. Like, it felt very like he didn't understand the assignment. That's the sort of thing where you bring a little bit more energy and intensity, or at least sound like you care. Like, he just sounded kind of like, it sounded dejected, and I didn't need that for this style of music on display. Like, yeah, it felt like, again, it was more produced like a pop song than it was that sort of lush disco tune. And that can work, but it would make more sense if you had a singer who could sell it like a pop song. And I don't think this guy really did. I don't know. Yeah, kind of tedious. I wanted to like it a little more. So we're going to switch things up for the last two. The next song is going to be metalcore, because I'm going to switch these two around because I want to end on jazz. But this is from metalcore. This is from Rotsack. The album is called Head Rush, and apparently it's metalcore, so I want to hear it. The song's called Shame. Let's give it a shot. We're going in. This does not sound like metalcore. I feel like I've been sold badly. Yeah, kind of beige right now, so I'm hearing. It does feel beige versus Belgian. They're both applicable here. Oh, I don't like that vocal mix. The 2000s want this back. No, we're not doing this. This feels so generic. Like, I agree, it's more alt-metal than metalcore, but at the same time, this is not interesting. Like, I'm expecting a breakdown, and these are not and this is just kind of washes over you, honestly. There we go. The production's not very good either at all. Actually, the production's really bad. I'll say that. Ugh. Yeah, I hear the underoath in that. I do. Okay, that was Shame. Let me make sure I get the name of the band here right. This is Rotzak from the album Head Rush. God, I did not care for that at all. That felt very thuddingly mediocre. For one, the slow build would work better if I felt like there was a hook on that at all. But also, like, the vocals were really badly produced. They felt really canned and compressed alongside riffs that I don't think were that interesting. Less metalcore, more alt metal, but also not good alt metal because there was no heaviness to it at all. Like, it felt like it falls in the same sort of slush that a lot of this brand of radio rock, honestly, it felt more radio rock than anything else. And that's not a good sign because I'm like, I don't normally like radio rock as it is, but that was the sort of thing I'm like, why are you playing for that? You're about 20 years late and it doesn't sound good. And the lyrics weren't anything to write home about either. So yeah, I basically, I can hear myself forget it as it plays. I feel that a lot. Yeah, again, it didn't feel special. Like, it just did not feel special. But anyway, we are nearly done. We've been on this for 3.5 hours. Somehow we've not been killed. Fingers crossed we can get through the last song here. All right, this is from Alexa Nava. We got some jazz here. I appreciate ending on some jazz. The project is called No Language, and the song is called Cycle Circles. Let's give it a shot. Oh, I hear that horn. Ooh. Not sure I like that horn. That's a choice. I know there's an audience that likes that, like, saxophone effects, but I don't. I like the drums sound great. Nice little cascade here. It's good. It does feel a bit jerky, I would agree with that. It's definitely playing to more of a free jazz vibe, which is fine, but like... I think if the horn sounded better, I would like it more. I can definitely tell when someone wants to be at the forefront of the mix, especially with how muted everything else is around her. Just kind of a mistake, honestly, and I'll explain why in a second. Yeah, I agree with you, Sammy. It's got a good melodic motif at its core, but like... I'm gonna try not to be too mean to this, because I've got thoughts on this. Ah, drum solo time. Oh, big time drum solo time. Drums are doing a lot here. Oh my gosh. Are you get some bass? Are we gonna get bass breakdown? Going for a fade out. Okay. Alrighty. That's our final song of the night here, folks. That was Cycle Circles from Alexa Nava from the album No Language. That was alright. I didn't love that. And then the reason I will say I didn't love that is because kind of it's a lot of you were describing it in the chat. It's very much the horn at the forefront, especially with all the effects put on the horn, that kind of felt like it was not blending as well with the rest of the mix. When you have a drummer as good as the one you had there, plus good bass line, plus decent keyboards, and your horn is trying to be so prominent and feel so produced to be prominent and almost a little compressed in that regard, it just didn't flatter it as well as it could have. If it had been better blended, played more in syncopation with the rest of the mix, I think it would have come across a lot stronger. Not bad by any means. I kind of liked how it turned out at the end, and maybe some of that was the drum solos, but yeah. Honestly, it was okay, but it probably should have been better. And you know what? I think that's where we're going to call it for tonight. Oh my God, we've been streaming for well over 3 hours. This might be the longest episode of Bandwidth yet. Really hope I don't have many more episodes like this because this one took a lot out of me, folks. I am extremely tired. I'm going to head very close to bed right after this. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate all of you who stay up this long and actually follow along with what I do here. It is greatly appreciated. If you want to help support the channel, once again, I'll point you towards my Patreon and YouTube memberships. We did have someone who joined the YouTube memberships tonight. Greatly appreciated for that, because it also helps you guys help support the channel, get albums on my schedule, yell at me on my Discord. Y'all know the vibes. But again, thank you all so much for watching. You all have been watching Bandwidth. I'm Mark from Spectrum Pulse.